Previously in X-Men. More than a year has passed since the X-Men fought on Battleworld, where Colossus fell in love with the healer Zaji and held her for her final breath. The earlier relationship between Peter and Kitty, although easily dismissed as first love, could not withstand Peter's perceived betrayal. Is there a way to bridge the emotional gap between the two teammates? I am Jason Lapidus.
I am Chris Sanagan.
And we are Group of 7 Comics. Welcome to episode 124 of our ongoing Tuesday night live stream read-through of the X-Men comics that became classic, as we read Uncanny X-Men 197 by Claremont, Romita, and Green, cover date of September 1985. Chris, how are you?
I'm good. You know why I'm good?
Tell me why you're good.
I got this guy.
Oh, hold on. You got an action figure.
Yeah, I did. Well, my good buddy Jason Lapidus gave me this guy for my birthday. Look at how little cute he is. Little claws here. Anyway.
Now I look at the way you've posed that figure.
Yeah.
And something tells me.
Better? Is that better?
Something tells me that maybe you're scared to bend those joints, like the knees and elbows. Looks like you're just doing shoulders. You know what I mean? They really articulate heavily.
Yeah, they're great.
You can really
you can do the splits. It's wonderful.
Yes, you can. That's a cool Wolverine. Shouts to the good folks at Hasbro for sponsoring the channel for that one. And yeah, that's fun. Good times there, man. I got one to match you.
Whoa! Show me that one. Go up on the big screen on that one.
Have you not seen this one before?
Maybe I have.
This is Colossus. He came in a 2-pack with Juggernaut.
That looks great.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. Here he is next to.
That
give
looks
you a sense of the scale.
Yeah, I like that.
I don't think I have a Wolverine on the table. He's back there, but I do still have Pretty Boy here, so it gives you a sense of how big he is.
Pretty Boy. That Colossus.
Yeah, he's a big figure. And this is the only older Colossus. The other Colossus they've made, Marvel Legends, is a modern one, and he doesn't have a suit that is iconic for me.
Right.
So although I used to have it, I've sold it since. But this is my guy, right? This is Colossus.
Yeah, that's a Colossus that I need.
Yeah, you mean not the one we see in front of us on the cover by John Romita or on this beautiful splash page? You don't like that double-breasted jacket with the collar? That sort of Star Trek II vest?
Are you hearing my dog bark in the background, by the way?
You call that a dog bark? I thought there might be a problem with your refrigerator or a dishwasher.
No, she knows it's bedtime. This is weird.
Give
me a second. I'm going to put the other dog beside her and see what happens. Hey, you.
No trouble. Don't even think twice.
All
right.
Come on,
I'm gonna mute you. Should I mute you?
Good idea.
Consider you muted. So firstly, let's say hi to everyone in the chat. Aliam, happy Tuesday, you awesome nerds. Hope you're doing well. Happy that you are here. Chuck says, sup, ex-friends. Michael says, hello, everyone. Jason Jose, hey, ex-folks. Massimo, hey there, everyone. Yeah, the short-lived hot claws. That's right. So Wolverine can cut through butter because, if those claws aren't hot, it doesn't do anything. So, no, that's good. It's nice that you guys are here. I think this Colossus is dope as well, and I'm super grateful to have it as part of my collection. So really glad it's here. Yeah, the distressed puppy. Yeah, do you want to see the puppy?
Do you want to see the puppy quickly?
Yeah, of course. Okay, go get the puppy. Puppies are always a good thing. I mean, so Chuck says, the newer uni does have more of a communist Soviet feel to it. Are you referring to the one that he's wearing on screen now? Or are you referring to the sort of bearded Colossus? I'm not sure. Oh my goodness. Let's get this in a solo view. I have a bit of a soft spot for pups. So I'm going to unmute.
She's not quite as little as she used to be. Oh, honey. But she's still 6 months.
Oh my goodness.
Still 6 months.
This is Brioche.
This is Brioche. This is my other Labrador, I've got Bijou, who's 7 years old, who is the one I just told to get in the crate beside Brioche and made her make her company. But this is okay. You say hi to everybody?
Yeah. Hey, kiddo. I'm looking forward to meeting this one.
All right. We good? We good.
Okay. Bijou is such a good girl. I'm sure Brioche is a wonderful pup too. So that would be so much fun to have those two. Wow, she's gotten so big. Oh my goodness. Yeah, she's a good girl. No doubt. No doubt. So Chris and I were just oh geez. Chip is here. Oh, buddy. Hello, puppies. He talking to you or the dog? Chip, by the way, congratulations. Muzzle tough to you and Jen. There you go. Chuck says Brioche rating 12 out of 10. Relevant to my interests. There you go. Chris, you and I were just in Deep River, Ontario over the weekend.
Sure were.
Alongside about 3 other comic book creators. That was a really fun weekend to hang out with you.
Yeah.
And we had some really good eats on the way there and on the way back. Oof. And I'm really excited for next year to go to Montreal the week before, or maybe, Halcon or the East Coast one that's happening this coming weekend, like something else busy in the time period, if you get my drift. Yeah, I really enjoyed hanging with you over the weekend, though. That was good times.
That was a lot of fun. It was a different part of Ontario, Eastern Ontario. We've never been before, and it was it's always good hanging with some other comic creators.
Good hang with you. Good hang with you.
You yourself as well. Yeah.
And the other creators were good people too. Let's take a look quickly at this original art from John Romita Jr. Right. This is pretty cool to see. I don't know if you can tell on this one. But we just get, of course, the paste ups, Yeah. You get the paste up of the logo and corner box. And you see how Dr. Doom's head is a darker color too? It's that it's like it's the paper has aged differently. It's because it's different paper. It's very possible that was glued on, right? That was a piece of comic art board like Bristol that was drawn on again, or like modified in some way, and then rubber cemented on top. And that's why it's aged differently than the rest of it. So yeah, an art patch, as Chip is calling it there in the chat. So maybe he got notes back from the art director at Marvel, his dad, who said, yeah, we need to do a swap on that. Or maybe it's simply because it needed to go over top of the logo. It'd be fun to kind of get close up and figure it out. But pretty straightforward cover. I imagine all the fun ways you could play with this cover specifically. But the way that they decided to go was with that yellow fade, which maybe is, it pops on the stand, but it's a pretty boring one. I don't know how you feel about the color treatment, but I find it's pretty by the numbers and uninspired.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot about this issue that I think maybe falls into that category, including the cover, maybe uninspired a little bit. Is Doom even, maybe I can't see that closely, I can't see the pupils, but it's like he's just not even looking at them.
Well, that's partially just the way you play with comic book covers or comics in general. Like you can't really you don't want to show the back of a character's head. I can see his eyes. I'm holding it in front of me. Okay. And he is doing the comic book version of looking in that direction.
Okay, he's doing the side glance. Because when I first saw this, it's like he doesn't even care about those X-Men. That's how low he thinks. He's like, I'm gonna shoot you, not even look at you.
He's shooting and looking, and I actually want to go back to the other piece just for a second. There is a lot of screen tone on the finished cover. There's screen tone on the Doom's metal, but it's not here yet. It's not on this inked cover, so that makes me wonder at what stage it was put on. Maybe it's fallen off since then. That seems unlikely, but yeah, his armor does have screen tone all over it, but not here. That's really cool. Chuck adds, man, I think the black and white is way more interesting than the color version. I do too. At this point, I do too. And Chip says he doesn't need to shoot straight at them. He's Doom. Yeah? Question mark. We shall see. right? We shall see.
Interesting also coloring choice when we have not seen it. I don't know if it's a mistake, but Rogue's t-shirt thing is pink.
Yeah.
As opposed to maybe the green. Yeah.
Just a careless, or maybe they just wanted to play with it. Remember in previous issues, she has had a brown and or reddish jacket at other times. And maybe they just wanted to put something in that red spectrum, so we'll see. Let's just leave it at that, because we know that this does become her regular costume going forward for a long time, but I guess they're just not used to it. Chuck asks, is this ish another Doom robot? We're not telling. No spoilers.
What?
Come on, Chuck. Come on, man. All right, want to get into this one?
I think we should.
All right, let's dive in.
Otherwise, I'm gonna be playing this Wolverine figure all night.
That's true, and I want to go watch. I want to go watch the new Star Wars show.
Oh yeah, that's right. No spoilers, folks. Come on.
Yeah, no spoilers. We're good. Aboard the Imperial Shi'ar yacht Zri Shar, in the farthest reaches of the Milky Way galaxy.
Get away from him, monster. So long as Colossus lives, no harm will come to the one he loves.
Yikes! Peter, what is it? What's happening?
Where did it that, Katya? By myself?
That's crazy. I think it's a great splash, by the way.
Yeah.
I love
this design does nothing for me of his costume, but I think it's a great splash.
Sure. It's just, I'm nostalgic for it because of when I started reading. Like this issue is, as I've said before, of my childhood collection. So this is how I first encountered, this is how I first started reading with Colossus, but it quickly, takes that secondary position to his classic suit, which I love much more. This really does feel like a Star Trek II thing with that.
Oh, totally.
That again, that double-breasted collar in the front piece, and the straps are there on the legs in an interesting way, like he has to buckle them in. And I'm not sure if that red glove is actually metal or is it just a miscolor. Yeah, what were you going to say?
Like my goalie pads.
Right. They are like your goalie pads.
There's goalie pads. Yeah.
Yeah. So Chuck is saying the same thing with the glove. This could be a coloring error from stalwart colorist Glynis Oliver, who has been coloring the entire series for the most part, with a couple of fill-ins here and there. And letters from Tom Orzechowski, if we haven't, I know I didn't say it yet, but it's every issue. It's just unbelievable that team has stayed together for 100 issues.
Also, Kitty and Peter on a bed. What's going on?
Yeah, no kidding. All right.
Also, can I ask a quick question? Yeah. Okay, so the Secret Wars 2 ad beside it.
Yeah, dude.
I'm just curious because you and I have an affinity for Alpha Flight. It says Alpha Flight 28. It continues. Yeah. Do you know what happens to that issue with Beyonder?
I do.
Does he just kind of keep watching?
He is like a distraction from an important sort of scene as things are transitioning from one point to another. He causes just a temporary detour in the mall when the characters are.
Is it the West Edmonton Mall?
It actually is.
Oh, called it.
It is. Do you remember the story at all about when they think Guardian came back?
Maybe.
All right. Well, anyway, they think Guardian comes back, and there's a whole fight. Omega Flight returns to somehow defeat Alpha Flight and get Smart Alec out of Shaman's pouch. Who he has been there, in Shaman's pouch since who knows when, since issue 12, I think.
Just hanging out.
It's like a revenge mission from the robot Delphine Courtney of the Roxxon Corporation.
Oh yeah.
She's there to destroy Alpha Flight with the help of Omega Flight, and it's a whole big thing.
It's almost
it was a big misdirect because you think Mac is back, but it's actually the robot.
That should have been the cover title. Mac is back.
Well, it might have been. Might have been somewhere. And it was like a big drama, and then it's the end of the Byrne run by issue 28, which is the one that has Beyonder in it.
Okay. And I do have it. I have it in trade upstairs. Yeah.
The next issue, they get the Hulk's body, and strangely, Mike Mignola comes on for art duties for a bunch.
Yeah. Dope.
The early Mignola, and it's not great, but there are hints of awesomeness in it. Yes. But his creepy, the vibes of his art don't match the subtext or the text.
Sure.
It's a mismatch.
Sure.
And it shows when you read it. But
Sure.
Anyway, moving on.
Moving on. Okay, here we go. All right, I'm gonna read against myself here. Here we go. Fear not, I shall. A perfect copy you may be in, Buster, but you're no match for the original. Rupturing the outer hull has created explosive decompression. If I do not act at once, the outrush of air will, strong as a hurricane wind, will sweep my beloved and me into space as well. Fortunately, the breach is small and easily plugged by the bed. The danger is past, dear heart. You're safe. I saved you.
I love how in comics, when they the amount of space and structure between a cabin and outer space is one wall.
One wall.
Remember they crashed it. They always, anyway, it's like an ongoing thing where there is not a fair amount of structure in a spaceship. But I love how you can plug it with the bed. It's very cool.
Right, as seen in Infinity War.
Yes. The question, X-Man, is who will save you?
Sure. What's your more? No, this cannot be. Katya transformed into a young queen of the brood. They're extinct, the world destroyed.
That's what you thought, hero. Looks like you were wrong.
No! I must find the auditors. They will help me.
Are you hurt, Colossus? Come to me. Let Zaji ease your pain.
The healer I met on the Beyonders world. My other love.
I think it's still you.
Your hand. Your face.
Have you forgotten, my champion? I am but a ghost. To save you, Peter, I sacrificed my life. But I am lonely, my darling. I would have you join me, take my hand, seal our love, our bond for eternity with a kiss.
No! Home. I am home. This is the Östordinix Collective where I grew up. That tractor, it's about to crush my little sister Liana. But I shall rescue her.
Thanks a lot, bro. If I died then, I'd never have been kidnapped by the demon wizard Belasco and reshaped in his image as his apprentice.
We loved you, Peter, as you professed to love us. We protected you, depended on you.
Where were you when we needed you, huh? You failed us, Peter Rasputin.
No!
Because of you, Kitty Pryde's heart was broken. Because of you, Zaji died. Because of you, Ileana became a demon sorceress. The debt must be paid, as we suffered and suffer still. So must you.
No! To voice me, I've thrown to my armored self in my sleep and ruined yet another pair of pajamas. Oh, my heart is pounding, fit to burst. That was only a nightmare, yet it terrified me more than any battle, any foe. Where am I? This is not my room. Katya, she is here too. But I must remember, after we broke up, she told me never to call her by that pet name. Does she hate me for hurting her soul? It seems I certainly hate myself. Kitty, wake up. Are you all right?
Of course I am, Petey. Hey, we're not in the mansion.
No, sorry, Bob Kidley. You sure ain't. Please allow me to introduce myself, my little darling kitty cat. Name's Arcade. Welcome, X-Men. Murder World to Murder World. No! Yeah.
I love how he has his version of like a wet dream where at the end, he bursts through his PJs.
Right.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
I also like I dig the three, like, the
Yeah.
three women in his life that maybe, he's let down or whatever. And like, that's a good, I like that.
Yeah, there hasn't been a lot of pathos for him, or like any devotion to his story. He's been a pretty, I don't know, peachy keen character with bumps in the road along the way, but there hasn't been a lot of Claremont focus on him. So this is neat, just to put a little bit more baggage, remind us of his failures or the way that he might perceive those failures. So it's kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Mass wants to know if you're going for Jack Nicholson. Jason Jose says, I always thought Arcade sounded like W.C. Fields. I think you want to speak to where your
sure.
is coming from.
Yeah. So it's not very good, and I think where it comes from. I think no. So the transition. So when Arcade, it's meant to be though. I'll thank you for that check, because Arcade's meant to be a Californian, like rich kind of Californian, and so at one point we were reading him. I was reading him like a surfer dude, which kind of goes into Matthew McConaughey territory a little bit sometimes. So just bear with us as that happens. Yeah.
Chip says, I remember picking up 184-ish off the racks and buying back to 94 and then losing interest around this time. Issue 200 was a letdown. Wow, you had a lot of those issues, Chip. That's pretty wild. Michael says, I go with Sideshow Barker. And Chuck says, Chris sounds a little more like Harry Carey. We read a backup story in one of the classic X-Men where it shows Arcade basically murdering his family to get his inheritance. And you kind of talked about him as being this Southern California, like Orange County douchebag.
Yeah.
And when you said that, I'm like, yeah, okay. He wants to be a Carnival Barker. He wants to be able to announce things, but your version of him like has the worst side of him showing through into the performance. Do you know what I mean?
For sure.
Which I'm all game for. Like, he wishes he was W.C. Fields, but he isn't. He's this Southern California douchebag. So yeah, I'm down with it.
And I think the first time Arcade was read, it was by our friend Kevin from Toying Around. And he kept saying things like "Moida Wild,"
right?
Welcome to Moida Wild.
If you put him as an East Coast guy, but then they retconned by writing that story 10 years later and put him in the West Coast, and it doesn't mean he has to be portrayed one way or the other. But I think also when you're doing all the different voices, it's fun to have some that are just different,
sure,
like dramatically different. And so I'm all game with it, man. If it's getting you laughing, then it's getting me happy too. So I like it.
Let's keep her going.
For sure.
Also, Steve Garvey. I remember Steve Garvey.
Everyone remember Chocolate Milk?
Chocolate Milk? Mm.
Anchorage, Alaska. The home of North Star Airlines Captain Madeline Summers and her husband of less than a year, Scott Summers.
Which one do you want to do?
Oh, you do Scott, I do Maddie. Is that okay?
Sure. Moira McTaggart wouldn't have phoned if it wasn't urgent. It's something to do with Professor Xavier. She sounded worried stiff. So much has changed since I joined the X-Men. In those days, Magneto was our deadliest foe, a world-threatening menace. And now he seems to be Professor Xavier's friend and a resident at the mansion.
You're up awfully early, hotshot.
Madeline, I'm sorry. I was trying not to wake you.
Sneaking out on your wife, huh, big boy?
No, I mean...
Scott, sweetheart, relax. I was joking. I wish you weren't going. I'll miss you.
Likewise. But I have to. Xavier needs me, and I owe him too much to refuse. I'll be back, though, quick as I can.
You better, you big lug. Scott, you're not just an X-Men anymore. You've taken on other responsibilities, and it isn't a question of choosing between them either. You did that when you said, I do. Fair exchange, mister. I sacrificed some of my freedom and independence, my life as a pilot, for you. The reverse has to be true if we're to make it as a family.
That's something I can't remember before the X-Men. Something that outside the team I never really had.
You have one now, for better or for worse. Till death
It's scary, Madeline.
No less so for me, my love. Stay well, Scott, and hurry home. I'll be waiting. So I like, that we get a moment of this. We have now like an A story and a B story.
Yeah.
And I think this is one of probably my favorite parts about Claremont's X-Men is that you have these characters in different places and these different narratives that are happening with them, and you bounce back and forth. Even if it's just for one page, he's been called back, kind of using this also as a way to remind the reader of where we are in time with the Magneto story arc, that he's back with the team. And also just like, I guess, really clarifying that, I mean, we know now, like, Madeline is going to feel betrayed.
Right.
And so he's sort of setting up those pieces so that down the road, when Scott does choose the X-Men over her, she has a reason to start to hate. And that's a good thing to start setting up. There's lots of stuff going on here. Sorry, you were going to say.
Oh, no. Ethan, you want to finish your thought? Go for it.
No, just over to the chat. Chip's giving you some props there. And people can agree.
Oh.
Chuck is saying that we all agree that, your voices are awesome. Chuck is interested in knowing what size bed that is. What do we look like? Mattress salespeople? Come on, Chuck. We don't
It's
know.
A big bed, though, 100%. That's like bigger than a California King.
Oh, and Chip is throwing down the gauntlet here. He says, Jason's bedroom voice is only eclipsed by his bedroom eyes. Wait till you see me flex on that one, Chip. It's you might be regretting your recent engagement. Scott might as well have said, I'm going up for cigarettes. Be right back. Yeah, maybe. Sorry. Excuse me. I'm going to choke on that joke.
I also love how, again, we've talked a little bit about, because generally the chat is up. We've chatted about X-Men 97 and it's fairly still in the current zeitgeist. And so this whole Magneto, being leader of the team or being back at the mansion. And we're reading these comics really kind of referencing it or parts of it or allusions to it. So it's kind of a fun time.
It is. And also the Madeline Scott thing. Like
exactly right.
Madeline's contemporary. It's pretty wild. Wow. Toy Rensu, sup? How are you? Now we're back with the A story.
All right.
Nice place, Arcade.
A humble abode, my dear, but I love it so. Thank you for breakfast. Is this perhaps what is called the condemned's last meal? Maybe Russian. As that hunter-seeker hits, its warhead may dent even your steel hide. I cannot catch it. Of course not, dunce. Thing's programmed to take evasive action around anything but its target.
And who, I wonder, might that be, Arcade? Aha! Its sensors didn't react to my immaterial state. By phasing through the little terror, I've scrambled its electronics.
I have it, Shadowcat.
Be careful, Colossus! Be careful. Remember what Arcade said. Now it's called a hunter-seeker, and is this a term that's used outside of, I guess, Dune? Is that I recently watched all the Dune movies 100 times, in the last couple months, and I think a hunter-seeker is what they call it in that as well. I'm wondering if that term is used in anything else, or is Claremont just riffing on that title? Chuck's backing me up here, saying Hunter Seeker was Dune, so I'm wondering if that's where he's getting that title or that name from.
And I just did a quick Google search just to see if it had come up or anything like that, and it's all connected to video games, StarCraft, Warhammer.
Okay.
But I'm not.
Ali says,
but it
Terminator and T2.
Somewhere. Sorry, what was that? Sorry.
Ali is saying it's also in Terminator and T2. Huh. Interesting. Dune came out about a year before this issue. Yeah, the movie did, but maybe it's called... Yeah, the movie. Right. Maybe it's called that in the book as well. And I wouldn't be surprised if Claremont had read that. He's a pretty reedy kind of guy. All right, want to move to the next page? Please and thank you.
Yeah. Club Grafoots.
Crumbs! Whoever sent that sure meant business. Colossus?
Sin's teammate, but otherwise... Me too. Some people have far too much luck. Nice try. Tell me, Gargantua, when did you acquire a sense of humor?
Who's after you, Arcade?
Do you like those holographic displays? With them, my other assorted gizmos, I can create any setting I like in Murder World. Kitty, I do not mean to complain.
Oh my, sorry, Peter. I hadn't noticed your outfit coming apart at the seams.
You are enjoying this.
Only the view.
No problem, my man, Mountain Beauty. I got X costumes galore. The robots mimic your powers, too. Pretty darn first-rate job, I do say so myself, but you're welcome to use them. Be like working with the entire team.
Before just the next panel there, he just dropped the M word, right? He called him a mutant.
Oh,
now
right.
Remember,
Right.
1 month earlier, Kitty responds to being called a mutie with the most aggressive language of all time.
Yeah.
And this time, it's just like, yep, pass over.
Are you suggesting that
That was just for shock value? Yeah.
Perhaps that might have been for shock value?
And it was, very superficial. Ali says, Kitty Thirsty is the best. Or sorry, Thirsty Kitty. Pardon me. Yeah, she's cute, for sure. Arcade?
Cute, huh?
Hardly.
They're my Barbie dolls, babe. I build them, I dress them as I like.
So if you can't see on the screen, there are X-Men robots in the back there that are dressed. There's like Wolverine as a leather daddy. Storm is barely dressed.
Sure.
There's all sorts of just kind of fun games. The little S&M stuff going on back there. Okay, Shrimp, quit stalling. I want answers, or else.
Well, certain clients prefer to exercise their talents and skills against prospective antagonists. My android,
Simulacrum.
Thank you. Simulacrums allow them to do that.
Is that the story then, Arcade? Your customers have gotten tired of playing with toys, so you decided to provide us instead?
For your sake and continued good health, Tovarish, I sincerely hope that is not the case.
Some good paneling right there.
Yeah. Let's not get hostile, okay? We're all friends here. Don't push your luck. You saw the missile. Someone's put out a contract on me.
Truly, truly tragic.
Today, in Murder World, I have to be killed. As a professional assassin, you must have made your share of enemies. To me, this seems with justice.
You're a big boy, Arcade. Take care of yourself.
Against Dr. Doom?
Dr. Doom, yikes. Not our problem, Buster.
I need protection. You're it. Turn me down or fail. My associate, Miss Locke, goes after your nearest and dearest. What happens to them happens to me, happens to them.
Give me a break, bozo. That trick never works.
Kitty, he is insane. Enough to be serious. Dare we put our families at risk?
He's a con man, Peter. He's into games. The wilder, the better. He's got something nasty up his sleeve. I know it. I mean, if he's so all fired scared, why'd he only kidnap you and me? In his shoes, I'd grab every hero I could get my hands on. Let's play along, Peter, till we find out what he's really up to. Then it'll be our turn. Here's just another example where they cut the panel short, because it's full of dialogue and it would just crowd. So give it that space to breathe, make it an easier read. Chuck is doing some language on Arcade. The plural of simulacrum is simulacra. Arcade is clearly from Southern California. Thanks, Chuck. And now we get a C story.
Right.
Lower Manhattan. So, Nimrod, how do you like your first week on the job, eh?
Interesting, Jaime.
Lugging crates at a fish wholesaler ain't much, pal, but it pays the bills.
I'm doing okay. No, that's the same.
Oh yeah, I'm doing okay. I boss my own crew, and when Delano retires, I'm in line for his job as foreman. Gotta tell you, hombre, the way you handle my boy's computer, I never figured you for a hauler, but you fit right in. You pull your weight, and I really appreciate you helping Tomas with his studies.
My pleasure. After all, you befriended me, gave me a place to stay.
Least I could do, Nimrod, for the man who saved my life.
Freeze, chumps! Payday for you!
Means payday for us. Money on the tables, now.
Pretty nice necklace, mama. Hand it over.
Don't you look cross-eyed at me, Shade. You come on like a hero, I'll splatter you.
Is that so?
Who are you, dude? What you doing?
I am Nimrod. You are criminals engaged in felony armed robbery.
Jeez.
This unit is empowered to pass judgment and execute sentence.
Nimrod?
They had weapons, Jaime. They meant to use them. If I hadn't acted, one or more or you would surely have been slain.
Way to go, Nimrod!
They got what was coming to them.
What a guy!
Thank you, mister, thank you.
Did you see that?
Blew him away.
Is he an Avenger?
Hey, Nimrod's our kind of guy.
You're a hero, man. By the way, they changed the spelling or missed the spelling change on his name. Jaime is spelt with the I before the M, and that's how his name always is.
Yeah.
But in the last time he refers to him as Jamie, he actually spells it wrong.
Huh.
But anyway.
Jeez, who's editing this book?
Give me a break,
Give me a break,
X-Men. What are you doing?
Jeez.
I love the panel where Nimrod just evaporates those guys.
Melts them into goo?
Yeah, it looks delicious, especially for a diner.
I'll have a cherry pie. I'll have what he's having.
That was the picture in the Marvel Handbook.
Oh, was it?
Nimrod. I think that was one of them.
Nice.
Yeah, it's crazy. Just Nimrod's design is always so weird, but I dig this. This is cool. And you get a great example of where to pull a photo reference. Now, this next panel is 100% a photo reference. And there might be elements that are traced, but it doesn't really make a difference. It just, it really stands out as being like, yep, those are old-timey cars. Proportions are perfect. You know, you can't really make up all those details on this kind of deadline. So it's a great pull.
Can you read what's on the marquee there?
I can read a lot of it. The first name in it is Lana Turner.
Okay.
And then John Garf, and I'm one of his Garfield. And then in terms of the movie, it's is it The Postman Always Rings Twice?
Oh, it could be.
I know I know the remake of that, I guess, if that's an original movie. But
Kevin Costner, right? The Postman Always Rings Twice.
Oh, that's The Postman.
That's a joke.
I thought isn't it Jack Nicholson?
1981, and there's 1946. Nicholson is in 40, is in 81.
Yes.
46 stars Lana Turner and John Garfield.
There you go. So that's what it is.
All right. So no Kevin Costner. Sorry, everybody.
This is Manhattan?
Is that me or is that you?
I think now it's
Is that Kitty, you think?
Oh no, let's switch.
I think it's reversed.
You go first.
Yeah. This is Manhattan.
You betcha. Circle World War II. Remember that scene in The Godfather, Peter? We're looking at the 3rd Avenue L.
A strange setting for a battle.
We're playing on a wacko's turf by his wacko rules. What else do you expect? I wouldn't be surprised if King Kong came bounding over those rooftops, or Godzilla. I wish Doomsday would hurry up and make his move. This wait is driving me buggy.
Do not be so eager, Shadowcat. You were ill when the X-Men fought him. You do not know how lucky you were. It was a very close thing, a fight we very nearly lost. So I'd like to, by the way, how he says it even when he's having his dream, but he calls her Shadowcat. His code name. It's not Katya. It's not Kitty. It's right. He's making a deliberate choice.
Yep.
Hate to burst your bubble, Pally, but that wasn't Doom you tussled with. Only one of his robots. Sneaky little bugger even had me fooled. This time, though, things are different. Doom somewhere in Murder World. All you and your X-Bots gotta do is get him before he gets to me. The X-Bots are all programmed to do what you tell them. And you can use as many as you like.
This sounds too good to be true. Arcade's being too nice. Where's his sucker shot? I mean, it's almost as if Doom playing by Arcade's rules too. Well, how would he do that? PD's awful quiet and serious. He's still on edge around me. As scared of hurting me again as he is of me trying to get even by hurting him. What's that?
The train whistle. Somehow, Shadowcat, I do not think this is the Lexington Avenue Express. Face, Shadowcat. They're shooting at us.
Hang on. Sorry, hang loose, Colossus. Reinforcements just arrived. Looks like in the nick of time. Behind you.
Wolverine, I know he is a robot, but his sounds behave so real. Arcade's mimicry is perfect. His warning, infantry droids swarming onto the roof, while the locomotive transforms into a giant combat machine. And now, fighter aircraft launching from neighboring buildings. Shadowcat, we are surrounded.
No problem, Colossus. So before you go on to the next,
Yeah.
big time. This is a weird looking one.
It's
Before you go on to the next one,
Yeah.
get a really cool example of the way Ramita does a character's running, which he almost always does quite gracefully, but by having multiple characters kind of going in the same direction, they kind of animate. Like your brain fills in the gaps between them because it's kind of just subliminally hinting that each of these is like a stride. So I like that technique a lot. It really works in comic book reading.
Nice.
Storm! Rogue! Shadowcat yells at the top of her lungs, automatically taking command of the situation. Give us high cover! Look, Colossus! Gosh, it's so great to see Aurora fly again. If only her powers could somehow be restored, I'd give anything for that to be really her instead of a lousy X-Bot. Wolfie, the goons are yours. Everybody else, gang up on this two-footed tank. Where are the darn Ewoks when they're needed most?
Cyclops, look out, Kitty! The way she spoke and acted, I was positive. The White Wolf was only a robot. Thank goodness I was wrong.
Even split, Rogue?
Sounds good to me, sugar. I'll take the left.
Bolts of lightning should clear my sector of the sky.
Me, I prefer working more up close and personal, and simply bust through mine. Sure don't make these critters like that.
This the best Doom can do? He must be slipping in his old age. Don't get cocky. The longer this goes on, the lousier the odds are for us. So flaming many of these cadres. We can't match the numbers. They keep wearing us down.
It's a great. I know they're robots. That's one of the fun is they get to just destroy them, right? So,
Oh, yeah.
spear through Wolverine kind of thing. It's kind of fun. Yeah, that train looks more GoBot than Transformer. There, I said it. There, I said it. World. Cyclops, if we cannot simply stand our ground, we'll be overwhelmed. Doom's the key Nightcrawler. Put him out of commission. We won't have to worry about his flunky robots.
So I was just doing something else for a second. Unfortunately,
Greatness, children.
you dare match yourselves against Doom?
I know those were Arcade's fakes. Oh, that's you, sir.
But even so, to see friends incinerated.
We are not Arcade's creations, Cat. But we may yet share a fate. Face, Kitty. The robot cannot touch you. This mechanism is Doom's heaviest weapon, the core element of his assault. If I can deprive him of it, Done it! I saved Kitty! As I could not save Zaji. I never even had the chance to try. I hardly knew her. We were together so short a time. And the only words of our two languages we understood were our own names and love. Yet she touched my soul.
And
I suppose part of what I feel is guilt for surviving. I want to prove myself worthy of her sacrifice. The only way that seems possible is by remaining faithful to her memory. Is that right? Or am I dwelling in the past? What debts are forever, Kitty? Am I truly honoring Zaji in this way, or... Forgive me, I should not be asking such things of... Look out!
did you think the conflict over, fools? Merely because you had dispatched my automaton pawns. What doom begins, he does not end until he has won.
I am tired of such stretched talent, and of self-styled all-powerful braggarts who care nothing for the lives they take, the dreams they trample, so long as they get their own way. You and the Arcade are of a kind, and the Beyonder crueler by far, because such a being as you should be above such manipulations. I strike at you, Doom, as I cannot at him. It was me. I don't believe this. All I've done as usual is make matters worse. Brilliant, Rusky. Buckethead's out to punch my ticket, and you send him crashing right through my front window? Whose side you on anyway? I cannot reach our kids' control booth quickly enough, but my festival special, Kitty, will ensure that you do. Delay Doom by any means possible, till I arrive. It was the only thing I could do. Kitty knows that. She understands. Will my decision leave me with more blood on my hands? That I could not bear.
Our game is ended, Arcade, as are you. There? The Tin Man?
Ironclad breast.
No need, partner. I got him. Oopsie. Victor Von Doom, fall down, go boom. I love it when a plan comes together. Doom zapped the Kitty X-Bot, thinking it was me. And your entrance, Peter, distracted him for the couple of seconds I needed.
Were you a robot throughout the battle?
Except for right at the beginning. I figured one of us better stay with Arcade, just in case. So I reprogrammed this X-Bot to play my part and snuck back here. There wasn't time to brief you, and I figured you'd be more convincing if you thought one of the bots was really me. Your reactions proved to Doom that I was you. Then, once he'd taken care of me, he wouldn't be expecting any more trouble.
What the dunce I was to pour my heart onto a machine. Perhaps that is for the best. Did you enjoy making a fool of me, Kitty?
That wasn't my intent, Peter. But yeah, part of me does. Part of me is ashamed. I wanted to see if you still cared, and how much.
What is the answer?
Hey, Arcade, don't do that. You beat Doom. Do you have to make fun of him?
Don't get yourself in an uproar, Kitty. This ain't Doom.
Miss Locke! I very nearly had you, Arcade. Another few seconds.
Them's the breaks, sweetheart. You're good, but the boss is still the best. A toast to the best duel I've had in ages.
Next year, I shall dance on your grave.
You're welcome to try. This was a game?
The sucker shot. I should have guessed.
The ultimate, kidzos. Celebrate my birthday. Miss Locke has 24 hours to cash in my chips any way she can.
Seriously? You were willing to risk being killed?
That's the whole point, honey bunch. Otherwise, where's the excitement? Where's the fun?
Arcade, that's insane.
Yeah, ain't it though?
Later, at the Grey Malkin Lane entrance to Professor Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters.
It is wrong with Arcade drive away scot-free. Is there not something we can do?
I'm open to suggestions, big guy.
What's the charge for kidnapping? Attempted murder. Okay, where's the proof? Oh, that's her.
How do we nail him without compromising our identities as X-Men? I'm afraid, Peter, we got to chalk this one up to experience. And hope for better luck next time.
If nothing else, this will make a delightful story to tell the others.
That's for sure, Peter. Is something bothering you? You're awfully quiet on the drive home from his secret lair that we don't know where it is, but he literally drove us out of it from his, I guess, parking spot. So we could have just looked, but we're not going to talk about that right now.
No, we are not. Or how they got there in the first place. Not really, not any longer. It is something with which I hope, I have at last come to terms.
I'm glad. Really. I was worried.
You know, Kitty, you are not so young as you used to be.
Happens to the best of us, sport. You ain't anywhere near as old as you like to think either. So there.
Tell me then, could this be the beginning of a beautiful friendship?
Maybe. Another time, another place. The Serengeti Plain. A day after Aurora, the X-Men's former leader, was shot and left for dead. Vultures. Be gone, eaters of carrion. Find some other carcass to strip. I am far from ready. All my days I have fought. I am not about to give up now. Do you wish my life, O Master of Shadows? Then come for me. Claim me, if you dare. Next, Life Death from the Heart of Darkness.
Damn.
I spit all over this comic. I gotta just wipe some of that off.
Carrion.
Yeah, performing Storm. Like, she's so dynamic.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just okay. We'll talk about this issue, then I'll talk about Storm's performance in a second.
Sure.
Yes, Chuck, like you said, is Peter singing this out loud to Kitty. That was resolved in the story. It was a Kitty bot. Chip wants to add, yeah, there are so many words. You're right. JRJR does such good sequentials. Mid shots and long shots. This issue are really interesting. I can't imagine what the script was like. It feels over directed. Oh, I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure that's the case with most things that Chris Claremont works on. But JRJR is really great with that stuff when he's given the room to do it. He's awesome. I guess I'll turn this issue off all the way instead of do that, and then do that. Beauty. Okay. So what did you think of this issue?
Okay, so now I've read it twice. Once live. When I read it, I really didn't care much for it. Just as a general issue, feels a bit kind of, let's have a Peter and Kitty side story.
Right.
I mean, Arcade's in there bizarrely. Again, just to your point, we don't quite understand how he gets them, how they drive back to wherever from wherever. But upon second reading, it's clear that its intention is to get Peter and Kitty back. That's the whole point of this comic, is how do we get them back on good terms, perhaps friendship, perhaps more, whatever it is, and put the past behind them. And that's what it does.
For sure. Yeah. So it accomplishes that. It moves the plot forward with Scott coming back, moves the Nimrod struggle a little forward, and gives us the next chapter in the life-death thing where, we see a couple pages here and there each issue with Storm on her way to her next step. So it does all of its jobs. Like, it ticks all the boxes. But, man, the decoy Doom thing, what a tired trope that is. Yeah, you couldn't get, to put Doom as the main character on the cover, and then he's not actually even in the issue. It eventually that starts to feel like betrayal.
right? Like it's just those aren't earned stakes, so it gets pretty frustrating. So the arcade thing is interesting. He really is to me like a child's character, and I remember as a kid, I used to love to set up murder worlds with my toys, being that like it incorporated things from all the different brands of toys we had. So I could pull in some Fisher Price play sets. You could pull in Castle Grayskull. You could pull in all these different things and have characters run the gauntlet and have to fight all these different. You make them robots, right? All these different things, and that would be a really fun way to play. But he is not a character that like holds up to any kind of critical thinking or.
Yeah.
And to that point, I'm gonna say that I wonder if Mojo is sort of like arcade version 2 in that he like you can no longer with a growing reader, like again Marvel Comics going from targeting 8 and 9 year olds to moving it up slowly through the 70s and 80s. Maybe even with a 13-year-old reader, you can't really explain away arcade and how Murder World fits in New York somehow. Like it needs to be other dimensional,
right?
And having those sci-fi interdimensional excuses for things really helps make sense of it. Like we don't really have problems with Mojo, but they kind of feel like they're cut from the same cloth in a way.
Yeah, people through their paces for entertainment purposes,
right?
With death on the line,
right? And I wonder how much more we're going to see of Arcade as an X-Men character in this run once Mojo is introduced. I wonder if there's room for both, or if one iterates the other one out. So it might be interesting. Chip says, I remember as a fan, each issue leading up to 200 was worse and worse. I can't imagine, Chip, that's going to be the case with the next issue. Because issue 198 is Barry Windsor Smith's Life Death 2, which is going to have some of the most exquisite art ever to grace the pages of an X-Men comic. So, I wonder if it was also something to do with what you were wanting at the time, especially if you were a fan of, I don't know, maybe Paul Smith, like you weren't getting the thing you're looking for. So interesting, though. I was so excited to pick up issue 200, ran to the shop, such a letdown. Then I was out. It was the end of my Marvel zombie phase. Well, I'm glad you were cured from being a zombie. I have to say, though, by the look of you, you still look undead. No, I don't know. I got nothing. I got nothing. Jason Jose says 199 is okay. I'm curious to see what's going to happen. I don't remember ever reading it, truthfully. Ali says, what's the mask in the lower left of the cover? I started reading comics about 70 issues after this, and we have a lot of back issues, but I'm not sure what that is. That's a great question, Ali.
Wow.
I'm wondering what I can show. Maybe like a great example. Here. What do I have? Well, here's one, Ali. So there you go. Is it a Spider-Man? No, it's not. It's something I added on. I was just being sort of silly, and we have these characters called Peregrines, and they wear these masks. And this character, this is Bess, and her mask happens to be very decorated. So hers is colored so that there's like a bird on it. But that's just the way she plays with it. But in general, that is a Peregrine in place of Spider-Man. Because if this is our show, we don't have to put Spidey's brand on everything. We could put one of our characters there. So that was just me being cheeky since sort of the beginning. Yeah, there you go. There you go. See, Mass knows. That's a Peregrine. Yeah, just playing along. It's something like I literally add on to the graphic each time. Yeah, just for fun. But I was thinking it needed an update anyway. So maybe we'll come up with something new. But anyway, there you go. Next issue, 198, like I said, Life Death Part 2. I wonder where that will leave Storm. Given that we've both, really happily digested that cartoon, I think it's fair to assume that by the end of Life Death 2, she'll have her powers back. I think that's a fair assumption.
Not to mention a bit of foreshadowing in this issue where Kitty, upon watching Robot Storm, says, wouldn't it be great if Storm could fly again and have her powers back?
Right. So that's good. An interesting expectation. That's only a contemporary one based on the pacing of that cartoon. Is it going to mirror? Is it going to subvert our modern expectation? Who knows? I know. But it's going to be interesting to see nonetheless. Light issue. I wonder, if the A plot needed to be at a certain moment in time, or it could have been any one in the last 10 issues. They could have stuck this one in. You know what I mean? It's sort of like a bit of a pause between larger storylines. So kind of interesting to see where things will pick up again moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how many beats in the next issue are going to be X-Men. How much is it? All Storm? Is it a little of this, a little of that? Are we going to see Cyclops on his journey back from Alaska to New York? I really don't know. So I've never read Life Death Part 2. So I'm looking forward to actually going into the pages and seeing what's what. All right. Other than that, Chris, is there anything else that you would like to talk about moving forward?
No, we're just kind of actually setting up some dates this summer. We've got one coming up June, then July, and then again in August. So we can share more information. I don't know. I think the first one would be, is it next week? 2 weeks?
I'm having trouble with dates and times. I believe the 12th.
I don't think it's this weekend coming up.
Is it the 12th or the 17th?
Maybe the next weekend.
I'm doing an event in Markham with a basketball program. I'll just be tabling there for fun, doing some kids drawing stuff, just doing some kids fun stuff. That should be good.
Yeah.
That's a family program called Core Day. It's a basketball program in Markham. And then July 6th, is that the one that's next after that? I will be at Heroes World in lovely Richmond Hill, Ontario, to celebrate their 23rd anniversary. And I don't know who else will be there on Saturday, July 6th, but more information.
That's isn't Heroes World Miss Marvel's local?
It is
the actor
Iman Vellani's
that's right.
local store. Yeah, it's her. That is her home store.
Yeah,
it's
pretty sweet.
It's one of my 3 or 4 local stores too.
Yeah,
which is I pop in there regularly and taught some workshops there. Bought lots of stuff there.
Yeah.
And
then in August we're going to be at another store, North GTA area, North Toronto area, in Newmarket called Wayside Comics as well. So we've got a few comic store appearances coming up over the summer. Hopefully add more, and we'll keep you all posted.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
It is an early one for us. This is a fast comic to read.
It was
no cartoon to discuss.
Yeah.
No other like X-Men trailers or any other nonsense other than, of course, the Deadpool Wolverine popcorn holder,
Bucket.
Which you all should check out on your own and have your own thoughts. You don't need mine for that. But I'm going to go find my dog and watch some Star Wars The Acolyte.
Excellent. I think I might do the same.
Yeah, man. We could have had some... Do you have any of this left?
Oh, I got some of that left. Let's open the old cabinet of...
Oh, are we going to do it? Okay, I was
curiosities.
You could have, but... There you go.
Cheers, Bill.
Chip is saying, I think I was getting into Cerebus around this time, and branching to other indies. Then he says, goodbye, fellas. That was fun. Chip, you're fun. And it was great hanging with you at TCAF. And again, congratulations to you and Jen. Lots of love to you guys. And we'll drink this one to you and all the best.
To the both of you.
There you go. Cheers, buddy. There you go.
There you go. There you go.
And on that note, now brings us to the end of another episode of Previously in X-Men. Thank you to my good buddy, writer of Group of 7 and Peregrines, Chris Sanagan, and his beautiful Wolverine toy. You can find out more about our comics and upcoming appearances at group7comics.ca with the number 7, of course, and follow us at Group of 7 Comics on social media. Please click like and subscribe and tell us your take on X-Men comics in the comments below.
And spread the word. It's so much fun having people join in the chat. It seems to getting a little bigger. So, ton of fun.
Definitely. Share, spread the word, all that fun stuff. And stay Xy out there in the world. And thanks, Bob. And Good night.
Good night.
Woo. More Kanye.